You're muted.
You're muted.
You're going to do this throughout the whole interview. Hang on.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Hi, girlies. You look so cute.
So cute.
All right. If you're ready, did you make yourselves a cup of tea?
No, but because it's 6:30 or something our time, so mine has kombucha in it.
Well,
Mine is wine.
Wine and kombucha.
Okay, so I've got Rachel and Ruth here. Sisters united, always together. Sisters. You've always had a very special bond, very much like twins. In fact, sometimes you've been mistaken for twins, though you're not. So what is it about your bond that's so special? What is it that you each bring to each other in your sister?
I think I bring the humour.
I think we're very imaginative kids, and I think it's our sort of like, I don't know, creative energy as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Our creative energy, because that kind of, I guess that translates into lots of different things, like our sense of humour, our imagination when we're doing creative projects.
You've always kind of had your own code. Half the time I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah. We talk in movie quotes mostly.
Give me some of your favourite movie quotes.
Do you know my favourite? I think my favourite movie quote ever, and this has been for a long time.
You better not steal mine.
Well, it's mine. On Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Gene Wilder. And I think it's Veruca Salt's dad goes to him, what is this, Wonka? Some kind of fun house? And he's like, why? Having fun? And I just think it's just the most sassy comment. It's just so good. It's just...
I like that one.
Yeah, I think that is my favourite film quote.
Right,
anything with John Cusack.
Yeah, I was gonna say John.
So quotable, like something from like High Fidelity or Grosse Point Blank, like when he says psychopaths kill for sport, I kill for money. There's a difference.
Yeah, when we were young, we made up a language where we just have words, like we had our own vernacular and sign language so we could talk during church.
Yeah, it was fun, and it's like it's cool when you're a kid, when you can kind of like come up with all these like ways to make life a little bit funnier.
So from a young age, you've both been obsessed with film, all things film and TV, whether, what is it about those worlds that inspires you? Is it the characters or the stories?
I think for me, growing up, it was definitely a form of escapism, like growing up in the burbs, and I don't know, I just think I liked escaping into the world of film, and that's why I like to read as well, because I get the same sort of escape in reading. But I think, I don't know, we learned a lot about the world in film, and because we liked acting and performing, I don't know, it was just everything.
I think it was just kind of like being able to immerse yourself in something that's like bold and crazy, and there's interesting people and places that you would never go to in your real life, I guess. And that was appealing. And then I guess like we always wanted to perform too. We were always like putting on plays at home, like performing
and writing.
Absolutely. Always stealing my curtains and
yes. And there was
following my clothes. Next thing I knew, there was something missing from my wardrobe. And you guys, speaking of actors and characters, you've been to many Comic-Con, which me, I mean, I went to one with you, and I just found it so bizarre. It was just crazy. Marmaduke. Tell us about those adventures. What were you doing there? What sort of crazy things did you get up to?
They're so
Did you meet any famous people, or have you got any funny stories?
We met
Yeah.
lots of famous people. The first one we went to was London Film and Comic Con in 2012. And
Yeah.
Rachel was working at a literary agency, and she totally stretched the truth. She worked on their website, like she updated their website, and then she wrote to the Film Comic Con and told them like she's a writer. Like
They wanted the press passes
Yeah.
to, you know, like interview the talent, get backstage and stuff like that.
And they gave her one, and they
Yeah.
gave her one for the cameraman as well,
Which
the
was
camera person, which was me.
Obviously going to be Ruth. And then from then on, every year, we just kept getting these press passes. And I think eventually, like, I was working for film companies, so it actually made sense. But
And you were actually
and I was writing
for
some
sort of online publication.
yeah. I started writing for some online, like, pop culture publications. And so it made sense
It
eventually.
did make sense.
At first, we cheated our way in.
We had no idea. Like, I had this like old crappy digital camera. Like, it was just not the camera like a camera like
Professional
photographer would use.
Yeah.
And then like we met up with the press guy, and he's just like using this jargon that went right over our heads. And he's like, "Okay," and we're like,
yeah.
we had. So I waited in this line to see Anthony Stewart Head, who played Giles in Buffy. And I got to the front of the line, and I'm like, "I'm press," and he's like, "Oh, okay." So, and then I just did not have the balls to ask him anything. I was just like, "Can I get a photo with you?" And he's like, "Yeah."
And you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just like to shout out to St. George, my team who are playing tonight. Go the Dragons!
Guy the Dragon.
I was going to ask you what that mug was. I didn't know. So, you're both aspiring writers. Where do you find inspiration for your own stories?
Mm,
Can I?
yes.
I find I read a lot, and I find reading not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily give me ideas for my story, but it informs my craft. Like, I get a lot of inspiration, like, for my own sort of writer style and voice, and for and for my own craft. Like, I get inspired, or I don't know, I guess influenced by some of the things that I read. With stories, I think I take a lot from my own life and then sort of warp it into something else. Like,
For me, like, my three would probably be people watching.
yeah.
I think I tend to, like, if I have like a notebook in my bag, like, I'll write a few notes about someone that I find interesting. Landscape is the other one for me. Like, I can come up with a story in my head just from seeing like a landscape, like a rugged landscape. Or the other one is human interest stories. Like, I've always been into human interest stories when I was a kid, and I, you know, kind of went down the route of journalism at one point in my life for that reason. But I think things like from missing person story, for instance, like, just, there's so many question marks, and it just makes me want to write and, you know, figure things out.
So most of the time, it seems like you're both in sync when it comes to ideas, etc. Is there any bit slapping going on?
I think we work pretty well together. I don't think we ever really...
I'm trying to recall, like, ever if there was a time when we didn't really agree.
I don't know if I not agree. I think I'm more meticulous, and if something doesn't work for me, it just doesn't work for me, and I'm like, we need to change this. And if she doesn't see the same thing, she's like, we should just leave this alone, because if we keep going over this time and time again and picking at it, it's just going to lose, you know, its flavor and structure and whatever. So I think that's the only thing.
Yeah.
You're currently working together on a project. What is your process? Who does what? How do you decide how things work when you're working together? Tell us a bit about that.
Well, it's we're currently working on a TV series, And how we work, I guess, depends on what we're working on. So with the TV series, we develop everything together. So the initial idea, like I think this one, I kind of came up with the initial idea, but it's semi-autobiographical, like loosely, like based around events in our life. So it's kind of both of our idea. And then we develop characters together, we develop a loose story together, and then we split the workload. Like, okay, you do these characters and write out the bios, and I do these characters and write out the bios, and then
yeah, that's pretty much it. And I think that the unique thing about when we work on stuff together, like fiction, is that we both have the same fully formed characters in our minds. Like it's almost like we have the same mind when we're working on something. And so if something doesn't seem, natural or organic for a particular character, like we'll both have that same sense of, they wouldn't do that.
If there's like a block, like, and be like, I can't picture this happening. Like if I don't visualize something enough because I don't have enough backstory, or this doesn't seem right, like we're usually on the same page.
Yeah.
And then we sort of break things down, like if it's like a screenplay we're writing or a teleplay, like we either break it down by scene or by episode and be like, okay, you write this sort of, like synopsis and I write this one, and then we could break it down, work on scene by scene. She does this scene, I do this scene type thing. Or...
And then it just kind of fits together the way that it's meant to.
And we edit it together as well.
Okay. Now, on the side, because you do so much, both of you, but on the side, both of you have been using you 2-for-1 deal as models. Muggle. Yeah, Muggle. Yeah, so tell us about some of those projects that you've been involved in. Photographers have been using your beautiful faces and bodies as models.
And we did another shoot just recently for Milk and Blossom.
Our friend Zoe Elkington.
Yeah, so that was a really nice shoot too. We shot it actually on our dad's property.
Yeah, for a lingerie brand. It's like sort of postpartum sort of lingerie. It's called a Canadian brand called Mayana Genevieve or Janvier. And it was fun. Yeah. I never would have gotten in my undies and had gotten photos taken for anyone else.
No.
Chloe.
It's quite exposing, isn't it? Putting your undies on and having your photo taken, getting your...
Yeah, it is, but I think I find with any shoot, the first like 5 minutes of any shoot that I've ever done is nerve-wracking, and then you just get over it and you're fine, and you just kind of goof around and
I mean, with
stay
friends,
very focused though, I think.
With friends it's fun.
Yeah.
If it was like Serge or something, Serge, the French photographer, I'd be like, no.
That's a hard.
Yeah.
We're twins born 2.5 years apart. We've always been best friends and pretty much inseparable.
We've always been protective and supportive of each other. It's like an unspoken sister promise.
When I'm wearing Mayana Janvier lingerie, I can be a mother and I can be desirable at the same time. Like I can be both of those things.
It's comfortable and feminine, and you feel like you have a secret superpower when you're wearing it, and you can go out and be a boss at whatever it is you do.
But yeah, it's been good. We think we had a photographer friend called Penny Morgan approach us fairly recently, and we did a beautiful shoot for these boiler suits. They're like jumpsuits that
really cute.
Really cute.
Love a good jumpsuit.
I know, you would love it.
Fun.
They were so cute, and we were kind of like, who's going to wear the pink, who's going to wear the blue?
Yeah.
Like we were little, we would always argue over who was going to get the pink.
Well, I was blue and I was
pink. I don't know why though, because I
used to dress us in blue and pink. Except she was a tomboy and I was a girly girl that for some reason I ended up in blue. But anyways, I wore pink.
And I wore blue.
Okay, Anne, Shiz, your mum says.
Do, 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 do.
So funny.
I thought of something that you like really cute that you do like at the end of a phone call, like the goodbye. There's like it just goes for ages.
Really? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, bring it on.
Bye. Bye. Bye, darling. Bye. Bye.
I don't have a quote. I just had an impersonation, which isn't
Come on.
very good.
Do
It's
it.
like,
I do not do that.
Yes. Yeah. Classic.
They're not me. All right. I'll allow that. Tell us. Should we do the lime in the coconut? Lime in the coconut. The lime